Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and this is Stitched Up. So today's video is going to be a review of this, which is the new Sirocco pattern from Deer and Doe. So the Sirocco is a jumpsuit that was released this week, and I hadn't actually planned to do a pattern review today. I did have another idea for a vlog, but when this was released early this week, I had a night out planned last night and I wanted to make something to wear, and as soon as I saw this pattern I thought, I know the perfect fabric, this is the perfect pattern, I'm going to have a go. So I downloaded the PDF straight from the Deer and Doe website a couple of nights ago and whipped this little jumpsuit up in probably about 3 hours altogether. I think it took me it took me probably 2 evenings to put this together. The first evening was to stick the PDF together and then trace off all the pattern pieces, and then the second evening to cut out the pattern and get the jumpsuit sewn together. So firstly, this is obviously the line drawings of the pattern. So you've got a full length jumpsuit with a crossover bodice, and it's got pleats in the bottom of the bodice that gives you the shaping for the bust, and also a couple of pleats in the bottoms as well. The legs are fairly slim fitting but taper towards the bottom, and they have pockets in as well. You can also make the short version, which is like a little cute romper as well. As I say, it's a crossover bodice with a neckband and a short sleeve. So what I would say is that the PDF pattern is a bit of a beast to put together. It comes in actually 3 separate files. So you have a file for the bodice, you have a file for the trousers, and also a file for the shorts. And they're all in obviously 3 separate pieces, shall we say. So there's quite a lot of pieces to actually put together. Now, I used a crepe jersey fabric, if I come in closer so that you can have a bit of a closer look. I used this crepe jersey, which I got from Colville Fabrics, and it was really reasonably priced. Now I'm not sure whether this actually cost me £6 or £9 for 3 meters, but you know, whatever, it was, you know, an absolute bargain. And I used this fabric as a bit of a wearable toile, just to see how it fits. Now I'm quite a big fan of Deer and Doe patterns. I've made a couple of theirs in the past, and I did have a go at the magnolia, but so far I haven't had a lot of success at getting that to fit me. However, this was an absolute breeze. This jumpsuit is designed for knit fabrics, and the big thing that I would say is that the waistband does not have any elastic in at all. It is purely just the fabric. Now that's something to bear in mind, because if, like me, I'm a pear shape, and I made up the size 40 top and graded out to a 44 hip. So my waist and bust is a 40, and then I had to grade out 2 sizes for the bottoms to make sure that I had enough room to fit my big booty. And that presented a bit of a challenge, actually getting the jumpsuit on over my hips, because obviously the waistband is a fair bit smaller than my hips, and because there is no elastic in there, it is a little bit of a challenge. But obviously, because it's got a wrap over bodice, you've got quite a bit of room there to get in and out of the jumpsuit. There are no other fastenings on this jumpsuit, so there's no zips, no buttons anywhere, no ties. It is purely the crossover bodice that you pull down to get yourself in and out. The other thing that I was a little bit concerned about, and this is purely personal preference, was the pleats on the trousers. You've got a couple of pleats just here, there's one here and there's one there, and I was a little bit concerned that when I made these trousers that the pleats would add a fair bit of bulk around sort of my stomach area, but to be honest with you, I think it's fairly flattering, and I'm pleased with the way that it's come out. You've got a couple of darts in the back of the trousers, and there are no darts in, as far as I'm aware. Oh no, there's a couple of pleats in the back bodice, just some small ones just there, and then obviously the waistband as well. Okay, so instructions are fairly straightforward to follow. Obviously the instructions come in French and English. Now, as with all Deer and Doe patterns, which tends to be for most of the European patterns, the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch rather than the standard 5/8 of an inch. But I found that it worked, it's very well highlighted amongst the instructions, so you don't miss it. Most of this jumpsuit actually I did sew up on my overlocker. It was literally just the top stitching around the neckband and the hemming that I did. Well, I hand stitched the hem around the bottom of the sleeves and also the bottom of the trousers as well. But I'm really pleased with it. The other changes that I made to this jumpsuit as well was I added an inch to the bodice length, because that's a standard adjustment that I normally always have to make for myself. I also added 1/2 inch to the crotch depth, and I added 2 inches onto the leg length as well. There are shorten and lengthen lines on this pattern to help you and guide you with that if you do need to make any length adjustments, whether you're extra tall like myself or whether you're shorter. I'm not actually sure what the height is that this pattern is drafted for, but I would say it was probably, I would think, bearing in mind the adjustments I've made for my height, it's probably around the 5'6" mark. The neckband fits absolutely beautifully. There's no extra bits like stay stitching that you need to do, because obviously it's a knit fabric, so it's got quite a lot of recovery in there. But bearing in mind what I mentioned earlier about having no elastic in the waist, you need to make sure that you use a medium weight jersey that does have good recovery but has a fair amount of stretch widthways as well. I think fabrics such as scubas would be too heavy for this pattern, and I don't think there'd be enough stretch for you to be able to get it on over your hips unless you had a fairly boyish figure. I do think it's really flattering. I love the pockets. I'm not always a huge pocket fan in clothes, but I do like the pockets in this. I posted a picture of myself in this last night on Instagram, and I've been absolutely blown away with how many people like it. This fabric as well, as you can see, is got a fairly bold floral design on it, so I needed to be super careful because I didn't want any big flowers on my boobs or on my crotch, obviously, because that would have been disastrous. But as I say, I did make this as a wearable toile, and yeah, I wore it out from a meal last night with some work colleagues, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to do a little bit of a walk up and down in the conservatory so that you can have a better look at the full length version of this jumpsuit. But yeah, I'd highly recommend it. It's I'm definitely going to make another one. I'm really keen to try out the romper pattern. I've seen some really lovely khaki Ponte Roma, just some plain khaki Ponte Roma that I quite fancy in the shorts version. So yeah, definite thumbs up from me. So that's the Sirocco jumpsuit. I don't think there's really much else that I can tell you about it. Having looked at the pictures of the full length, I would say that I'm not completely happy with the pattern placement of the flowers on the trousers. I think the top looks really great. I'm quite happy with that. But I'll be honest, I think I could have done better with the trousers. But as I say, it is a wearable toile, and I'm really happy with how this fits. I don't think I need to make any other adjustments to fit my body with it as it is at the minute. So I think at the minute Deer and Doe still have a discount, a 10% discount off all their new patterns. There's this one, there's also the Pense, I presume that's how you pronounce it, which is a wrap back sundress, which I've ordered the paper pattern version of, and that's on its way over from France at the minute, I hope. And there's also the agave skirt, which is an A-line skirt with a dropped hem at the front. It's sort of an asymmetrical hem as well, and yeah, I think there's 10% off the 3 patterns this week during their launch, so go over and have a look at the website and see what you think. Yeah, have a look at the there's a few popping up on Instagram already, so if you haven't checked it out, then I'll put the hashtag along the bottom where you can go and have a look. But yeah, it seems to be a really popular jumpsuit. I would say it's really comfortable. It's super comfortable because it's knit. Yeah, it definitely feels like secret pajamas, and to be honest, I was a little bit worried that the trousers were a bit too pajama-y, especially in this fabric, but I think it works. So yeah, I hope you like it. Really short, quick video from me today. As I say, I wasn't planning on doing this as a video, but because I've made this up and it seemed to be so, people seem to love it on Instagram, I thought you might like to see it in a little bit more detail. So that's it from me today, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll be back really soon. Bye bye.